Gonna send that dog in on your boy. Shoot the dog. What are you doing now? No, he right there. Oh, hey, boy, taking his little last cigarette. And don't point that at you. About the,
I told y'all he was up in there taking a slow break. He knew better.
And bro was in that hole.
You said this one.
Who else got food? Oh, he said I'm sorry, Mom. So he's sorry, Mom. Kay said they about to smoke him. Yeah, bro. I'm tired of you saying that.
Oh, shit.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Damn, these my trees, dog. Nigga, I lost it. There you go.
Swat, you can't see this.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
It starts with a phone call that doesn't sound real. A voice on the other end is shaking, breaking, struggling to hold itself together. Words come out too fast, too panicked, like the person speaking can't decide whether they're confessing something or trying to undo it. Somewhere in West Harris County, Texas, inside an apartment complex off Katy Gap Road near Kingsland Boulevard, something has already gone terribly wrong. Before deputies even arrive, the situation is already split in two timelines: what happened inside that apartment and what's about to unfold outside of it. And neither one is fully understood yet. Not by dispatch, not by responding deputies, and not by anyone listening to that call.
Well, right now at 6, a SWAT team is trying to keep an apartment complex safe with a man barricaded inside one of the units.
So Harris County deputies say that this man allegedly shot his girlfriend before locking himself inside one of those units that you're looking at from Sky 2 right now. This is playing out on Katy Gap Road and Kingsland Boulevard, right near Katy Mills Mall. That's where we find KPRC 2 News reporter Corley Peel tonight. Corley, what are you finding out?
Stephanie and Keith, we were at the Century Apartments, and this is where investigators tell us the man shot his girlfriend before barricading inside one of the units. You look behind me here, you can see that this is an active scene. There are several Harris County Sheriff deputies or vehicles outside the apartment complex. We are being kept back behind just for safe measures as well while SWAT is doing their operation here. But further down is a building, and that is where investigators say that man is on the second floor barricading inside. He is believed to be armed. But if you take a look at our Sky 2 chopper flying over this area, you can kind of get a better perspective of how big this scene is and where we are. At this time, there's not a lot of information about how this all unfolded, what was going on leading up to the shooting. Right now, the details are that the man shot his girlfriend and that he barricaded himself inside one of the units. At this time, that woman is in critical condition, but we, of course, are on standby for information. I just spoke with the Harris County Sheriff's Office moments ago. They said they are still gathering details and they will eventually be coming over here to brief us on what's going on. It does look like some people are still inside their units right now, some of these residents, so we will continue asking questions, and I, of course, will keep you updated.
When officers reach the apartment complex in the Katy area near Katy Mills Mall, the atmosphere shifts immediately. There's no silence, not at first. There are fragments, disturbance calls, conflicting information, urgency without clarity. A man has reportedly said he accidentally shot his girlfriend. He has already told family members. He has already made contact. The story is spreading faster than it can be confirmed. Inside the apartment, something doesn't feel right. Deputies manage to see movement inside, and then they see her, a woman laying on the floor, still unresponsive. But the door between them and her is not just physical, it becomes procedural, tactical, necessary. Because inside that space is also a man who is still alive, still armed, still unpredictable. And that changes everything. What could have been immediate becomes contained. What could have been clear becomes negotiated. And what could have been a rescue turns into a waiting game. The man inside is identified as 23-year-old Caleb Green. At first, there is communication, a phone call, then another. Negotiators try to reach him not just as a suspect, but as a person who might still be pulled back from whatever edge he is standing on. But the responses are unstable. He refuses commands. He threatens himself. His words shift between anger, panic, and something quieter. Something that sounds like resignation trying to form. He barricades himself inside the apartment. Outside, the response grows heavier. SWAT units arrive. Crisis negotiators take position. Mental health deputies join the effort. The scene becomes layered with urgency, all focused on one goal: prevent another death. Inside, Caleb Green appears on the balcony at intervals. Each time he shows himself, the situation tightens. He raises a gun to his own head, then disappears again. Time stretches. Minutes begin to feel like they don't belong to anyone anymore. At one point, communication shifts again. His phone loses power, but negotiators don't lose contact. SWAT provides another phone. The conversation continues, but it never becomes stable. It moves like something fragile, held together only by effort and hope. Meanwhile, inside the apartment, the woman on the floor remains untouched, unreachable, unchanged, and still no one can safely get to her. Hours pass, nearly 5. The situation no longer feels like a search for resolution. It feels like a countdown no one can see. Residents in surrounding areas hear echoes of the disturbance, raised voices, tension leaking through walls, the kind of noise that makes people pause in their own homes and wonder if they should call someone or if someone already has. Then comes a decision point. Gas is deployed into the apartment. A final attempt to shift something inside, to force movement, to break the cycle of refusal and standoff. But even that does not end it. Caleb Green remains inside, still alive, still armed, still standing at the edge of something collapsing inward. And then, at some point during the standoff, he returns to the balcony. This time, there is no negotiation that can change what comes next. What happens is sudden, final, An apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound brings the standoff to an abrupt, irreversible end. Silence follows, but it is not peace. It is absence.
A SWAT standoff in Katy ends in tragedy. A woman is killed by her boyfriend, according to police. He then barricades himself inside of an apartment and takes his own life. The incident happened earlier today on Katy Gap Road, right near Kingsland Boulevard. Let's go out now to the scene tonight live with Jillian Hartman. Jillian.
Well, the Harris County Sheriff's Office tells me that a 23-year-old man shot himself after he shot his girlfriend inside one of the apartments here where she was found dead. And the girlfriend, I'm told, was just 20 years old. Now, the scene has cleared, but we do have video of the scene from earlier. Take a look at this. So deputies say just before 2 p.m., they were called here to the Century at Katy Apartments for a disturbance. Authorities say the suspect called 911 and was frantic on the phone, claiming he accidentally shot his girlfriend. When deputies arrived, they say the man refused to obey their commands and threatened to kill himself, and then the suspect barricaded himself inside his apartment. And SWAT team and crisis negotiators were called to the scene trying to get the man to peacefully surrender, but he refused all demands. And after about 5 hours, deputies say gas was deployed and the man went out on his unit's balcony where he shot himself. And authorities say when they went inside the apartment, they found the girlfriend dead. Take a listen.
Highly, highly unfortunate. And the Harris County Sheriff's Office wants to let anyone know, any victims of domestic violence, please call us in time so these type of tragedies won't take place.
And Jillian, this was an hours-long standoff. You were there. Did you get a chance to speak to any of the neighbors, perhaps?
Well, I did speak with a mother. She lives here, and she says that she actually heard a gunshot, and she says it's very scary that this happened close to where she lives. Take a listen at what she told me.
Very scary, especially having kids in this apartment. You don't feel safe. It's scary. I mean, I've been seeing all of the news reports about everything happening all over Katy, and I just feel like with kids, I don't think that this is where I want to raise my kids anymore.
So deputies did mention to us that last year there has been a few calls for service at that particular unit, including a possible disturbance. So right now this is an ongoing investigation, and at this time the name of the suspect and the victim have not been released at this time.
Once the scene is secured, deputies move inside the apartment. Now there is no barricade to slow them, no negotiation to continue. No delay between what is known and what must finally be faced. Inside, they find the woman, 20 years old, dead. Authorities later confirmed she was never identified publicly at the time, and for a period during the standoff, she was visible but unreachable. It remains unclear how long she had been deceased before deputies were able to enter. That question hangs in the air, heavier than any explanation given so far. Investigators began piecing together fragments. A verbal argument reported before the shooting. Neighbors hearing shouting and screaming earlier that day. A call to 911 describing an accidental shooting. Messages sent to her family members. A story that keeps shifting depending on when it is told and who heard it first. And still, one central uncertainty remains, whether the initial shooting was truly accidental or something else entirely.
A man accused of shooting his girlfriend allegedly turns the gun on himself during an hours-long SWAT standoff near Katy. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Keith Garvin. Harris County Sheriff deputies say that it happened at the Century Apartments off Katy Gap Road in Kingsland near Katy. KPRC2 News reporter Corley Peel joins us live from there now with how this tragedy unfolded. Corley.
Keith, there are still a lot of questions, but investigators tell us a man called 911 saying he accidentally shot his girlfriend here at these apartments, and then hours later, he was found dead too. Neighbors took this video as SWAT and deputies flooded the Century Apartments around 2 p.m.
I did hear a gunshot, a lot of screams, the cops talking to him.
Harris County Sheriff deputies say the response came after a 23-year-old man called 911.
A male was frantic on the phone and said he had accidentally shot his girlfriend. Upon arrival, deputies made contact with the male, and the male refused to obey their commands and threatened to kill himself.
Investigators say he barricaded himself inside the apartment with a gun. Deputies were able to see the 20-year-old woman inside.
Our drones were able to capture pictures of her where it did show that she didn't have any signs of life.
After hours of negotiating, the standoff came to an end.
At one point, we did deploy gas into the apartment complex. The male retreated onto the balcony where he suffered a self-inflicted gun.
Investigators found both their bodies inside the apartment. What led up to this tragedy is still under investigation.
As a woman, it's scary. I just feel like with kids, I don't think that this is where I want to raise my kids anymore.
And deputies told us that they have been called out to this apartment in the past. One of those calls was for a disturbance. They didn't have a lot of details about that, but this case is still under investigation.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office confirms no deputies fired weapons during the incident. Both the Homicide Division and Internal Affairs began investigations. Autopsies are ordered at the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences. And behind all the official procedures, there is another layer of unanswered questions. What happened inside that apartment before anyone arrived? What was said in those first moments? And why did every attempt to slow the situation down still lead to an irreversible ending? Investigators also note that Kayla Green had experienced multiple personal losses in the past year, along with ongoing relationship struggles. But whether any of that explains what happened here remains unconfirmed, unanswered, open. In the end, officials describe the incident as highly, deeply tragic, not just because of the outcome, but because of everything that happened before it became visible to anyone outside that apartment. The situation that moved from private conflict to emergency call to armed standoff to silence that could not be reversed. And in the aftermath, one message is repeated by authorities in Harris County. If something like this begins, if violence or crisis starts to build, reach out before it reaches a point of no return. Because once the standoff begins, it rarely ends the way anyone hopes it will. Alright y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's the crazy story of the standoff in Katy, Texas. You know, my condolences to both of the families, man. May they rest in peace. Hey man, get in that comment section, let me know what y'all think. Drillers and trappers, we outside trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video.